To be honest, I'm playing this way since I started playing basketball.
What is your goal for your career? Everybody loves playing NBA.
When I was little, I just played video games and I dream coke. That was my life. I really couldn't do a push-up. And then I started working out. I drank the last coke on the airplane coming to America.
Jokic on the steal, lobbing it up. It's the triple-double.
Nikola Jokic can do everything.
I always think someone is better than me. Just by that mentality, I'm going to be underdog always.
Nikola Jokic, this year's most valuable player.
Jokic with another perfect pass. Throws it down and the foul. It's up. Oh, it's good. Of course it goes in. The Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
On to the next one.
We are at the point now where it's more notable when Nikola Jokic doesn't have a triple-double than when he does. The Nugget star posted his 9th of the postseason in Game 1, extending his NBA single postseason record 14 times. That's a finals record in a debut. Jokic may well be the most understated, underrated star the league has ever seen.
Jokic is going to go down as one of the all-time great centers to ever touch a basketball.
In a league full of incredibly talented and skilled players, Jokic is a unicorn.
Everything starts and stops with Nikola Jokic. Incredible player, which is why he's two-time MVP.
He plays the game that way. He plays for his teammates and his teammates play for him.
It's crazy what he's able to do on a basketball floor. It's a monster.
That's the genius of Nikola Jokic.
That was a ridiculous delivery from Jokic.
I know how great he is. I know how great Joker is. He sees plays before they happen. And even when you guard him, one of the best possessions that you think you've guarded him, he puts the ball behind his head, Larry Bird style, and shoots it 50 feet in the air, and it goes in.
Falling away, puts it up. Bang! Nikola Jokic!
So you do like this to him.
Of course it goes in!
He's special.
Not only is he delivered, he's absolutely dominated.
And this guy is chasing history. It's certainly one of the greatest to ever play the game. Jokic.
Falling away, it's good. What a touch he has.
He's too damn good. It's not fair, all the things he can do. He's not going fast. He's not jumping high. You know, it's kind of Larry Birdish, you know, in a way.
You play good defense, he still finds his way right at the basket. You got kind of the full package. I don't know how to hype him up anymore.
The creativity, his mind just works differently than most humans.
Everybody gets cracked up into his stats, but I don't think a lot of people talk about like this part of his game.
Nikola Jokic is an absolute franchise cornerstone.
No one ever could have seen that he'd be a two-time MVP, passing Wilt Chamberlain, it seems like every other night. He's a great player and give him the respect he deserves.
And for more perspective now, we bring in our Tim Legler. Legs, I don't know that I've ever seen a player dominate as effortlessly as Nikola Jokic has. He's almost unselfish to a fault. What about the way that he's dominated stood out to you in Game 1?
Yeah, I think, Kevin, the thing that's most amazing about Nikola Jokic is that he never forces the issue and yet has these ridiculous stat lines when it's all said and done. He's in perfect control of what's happening out there, the pace of the game, where the ball goes, every situation he's processing. I feel like he makes every read correctly and makes the simple play more often than not that just leads to great offensive basketball for his team. So I think for me, to watch him in Game 1, pick his spots to that extent in the first half, not take his first shot of the game until just a few seconds remained in the first quarter, and yet still be the most dominant player on the floor. I think it just speaks to his greatness and how difficult it is to come up with an effective game plan against him, because he'll beat you as a scorer, he'll beat you as a passer, he'll beat you as a screener, and he'll beat you with his mind. And when you put all that in one body, it just creates such a difficult task for any team to come up with the proper game plan that will affect him.
Really kind of pick your poison when it comes to Jokic and Murray, who were both really good in Game 1. The Nuggets as a team weren't great, nor were the Heat. Legs, they took 39 threes in Game 1, just 2 free throws all game. Jimmy Butler said that's got to change. They're a team that's predicated offensively on the three. How do you change that in the NBA Finals, no less?
Yeah, the Heat have been an interesting story because they shot the ball far better in the postseason to this point than they did in the regular season. But you saw some of that regular season shooting was surfaced in that first game. And look, it comes down to this. Are you getting good shots or not? I think that's Erik Spoelstra's biggest concern. And if you go back and look at the film from this game, I think they believe they've got pretty good shots in that game. They just couldn't knock it down. And I don't know if it was a confidence issue, if guys started to press a little bit as they missed some shots. It was at the stage of the finals. We don't know that yet after one game. Let's see how this progresses with their shooters, Strus, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin. Those guys got to carry their weight because Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo are going to get a lot of attention. So they're going to have to knock down their share of open shots, and they did not do that, obviously, in Game 1. They will be better in Game 2. That's the good news for the Heat. The bad news for the Heat is that I think Denver actually could be a lot better as well. But the Miami Heat certainly have to knock down shots, and they've got to get to the foul line. Jimmy Butler, I think, needs to be more aggressive in the first quarter, trying to finish those drives rather than come to a jump stop and find people. He needs to put points on the board, and getting to the line would be a great way to get his night started.
Tyler Hero could return in Game 2. That's one storyline of many to keep an eye on. Sunday night, 80.
And Nikola Jokic, he led the way with 27 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds. And he joined Jason Kidd as the only players in NBA history with triple-doubles in their finals debuts. Jamal Murray also threw in 26 points and 10 boards. So it was Jokic and Murray who joined Magic Johnson and James Worthy as the only teammates with 25 and 10 each in a finals game. Now, in the loss, it was Bam Adebayo who led the Heat with 26 points and 13 rebounds to become the sixth player in franchise history with multiple double-doubles in the finals. So he wasn't the problem. And there was Jimmy Butler, who shot only 43%, while Caleb Martin and Max Strus combined to go 1 for 17, which is tied for the worst field goal percentage in the NBA Finals by two starting teammates in the last 50 seasons. I need some adjustments. Here's Nick Friedel.
The key for the Heat going into Game 2, be more aggressive. It starts with Jimmy Butler. He said, I've got to set the tone getting to the rim. On top of that, they just have to hit open shots. Max Strus was 0 for 10. Caleb Martin was 1 for 7. Erik Spoelstra said, those guys aren't going to get seasick. We're going to them again, and they'll hit the shots when it matters. Now, as we look ahead, Spoelstra was very confident that his team would respond. He has always believed they are at their best when their backs are against the wall, and he believes they'll step up in Game 2 on Sunday night.
Hours before Game 1, Michael Malone gave the Denver Nuggets a pop quiz. It's safe to say the Nuggets passed their first finals test. Didn't matter what Miami threw at them defensively. Aaron Gordon set the tone with old-school bully ball to take advantage of a mismatch. Jamal Murray controlled the game with his scoring and passing. And Nikola Jokic, who took just 5 shots in the first 3 quarters, collected yet another triple-double, joining Jason Kidd as the only players to have one in their finals debut. I asked Jokic what he thought of Malone's quiz. He replied, he didn't ask me nothing. The next test comes in Game 2, but the Nuggets feel they have all the answers.
Let's talk money. The Nuggets are favored by in Game 2 by 8.5 points. They're nearly 4-1 on the money line, and the total for the game, that's set at 215. Game 1 finished with 197, just in case you're wondering.
The sun is set to rise on a new era in Phoenix with veteran head coach Frank Vogel set to take the top job. The man who helped LeBron and AD win a title in the bubble with the Lakers is finalizing a long-term deal. Vogel emerged from a finalist group that included Doc Rivers and Suns assistant Kevin Young. In Frank Vogel's 10